If you're playing Soldier 76 and you're hard stuck bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and emerald, there's a pretty good chance that your aim isn't actually the biggest problem. And that's because Soldier is one of the simpler heroes in Overwatch to understand mechanically. You have a rifle, you have helix rockets, you have a sprint, you have a healing field, and you have tactical visor. There's really not some massive mechanical barrier you have to overcome before you can start getting value out of this hero. But that's exactly why Soldier can be so difficult to climb with, because when the mechanics aren't that complicated, your decision making becomes even more important. I believe that Soldier is a hero that heavily rewards game sense, positioning, target selection, and knowing when you should actually be aggressive. So today I'm going to be going over 5 mistakes that I believe that is keeping you hard stuck while you're playing Soldier 76. Quick disclaimer though, I am not claiming to be the best Soldier 76 player in the world. I'm only masters myself, so take everything that I say as advice from my own experience rather than some absolute rule book for playing Soldier. And also, if you enjoy these type of videos and you guys want more videos like this in the future, go ahead and comment down below and also hit that subscribe button. Let me know what kind of hero you guys want to go over next. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. The first mistake I usually see is Soldier players spending too much time standing behind their tank and shooting directly down main. And technically, you're doing your job, you're shooting the enemy, you're dealing damage, but you're also making yourself extremely easy to deal with. If the enemy tank is standing in front of you and you're standing behind your tank, you're essentially creating one giant line of players shooting each other. And Soldier 76 doesn't necessarily need to do that. You want angles, high ground, off angles, positions where the enemy has to turn their camera to deal with you. For example, instead of standing in the middle of your team and shooting the enemy tank, take a nearby high ground or any other position and start pressuring the enemy support or DPS, or even the tank on some occasions, so that the tank can go ahead and look your way. Now, the enemy has a problem. If they turn around to deal with you, they're taking their attention away from your team. If they ignore you, you're getting free damage, but if they don't ignore you and start going after you, that's whenever your team is able to push up and apply more pressure. That's what makes an off angle very, very powerful. And this doesn't mean you need to go on some insane flank around the map and be directly behind the enemy team. Sometimes your off angle is literally next door to the team fight. You're still close enough to receive help, but far enough away that the enemy can't deal with you and your team at the same time. That's the beauty of it. Think of it like this. Your tank creates pressure from main. You create pressure from the side. Now the enemy is getting squeezed from 2 different directions. And if there's high ground available, take it. Soldier has one of the best movement abilities in the game for constantly repositioning himself, which brings me to the second mistake. Soldier sprint doesn't have a cooldown. Read that again. Soldier sprint doesn't have a cooldown. You have a movement ability that you can use constantly. So why are you standing in the same spot for 10 seconds, shooting the same target, hoping to get a kill, and just wrapping up your damage stats? Nobody cares about how much damage you have. Did you get the kill? If you're not actively fighting or applying some type of pressure, there's almost always a reason to reposition. Take high ground, move to a new angle, rotate away from the enemy. You should constantly be asking yourself, is there a better position I could be standing in right now? And this is especially important in lower ranks because players aren't always going to punish your rotations immediately. You can get away with repositioning much more often than usual. Don't treat Soldier's tactical sprint like some emergency button that you only press when you're running away. It's part of Soldier's neutral game. Use it constantly. And here's another important thing. Don't confuse being aggressive with standing in the enemy's face. Your aggression should usually come from where you're positioned, not necessarily from how far you're standing. You could be extremely aggressive while sitting on high ground 50 feet away. The third mistake is failing to actually finish the enemies you're damaging. Soldier's rifle does consistent damage, but sometimes you're going to get an enemy extremely low and they're going to escape around a corner. This is where helix rockets become incredibly convenient. Don't just think of helix rockets as another ability that you throw whenever it's available. Think of them as a tool for confirming kills or starting off a kill. If someone's already low or they're in a good enough position for you to land that helix rocket, use them. If someone is trying to escape, use them. If you have an opportunity to burst someone before they can receive healing, use them. You don't always need to save helix rockets for some perfect highlight play. Sometimes the best rocket is simply the one that turns they're almost dead into they're dead, or they're full HP, now they're half HP. All I gotta do is laser them down for the rest of the 50%. And this is especially important because one elimination can completely change a fight, and I mean completely. You kill one of their supports, now guess what? They're down one support, and now that other support has to heal their full team. If you get someone low and they escape, you've dealt damage. But if you finish them, now the enemy team is playing a 4v5. That's a massive difference. When you're shooting someone, don't just think, how much damage can I do? Think, can I actually secure this kill? This is the type of mindset that I need you guys to always be in, especially if you're playing DPS, because you're not just a damage dealer. You need to be securing your kills. This is why you see bronze lobbies and people having 70 kills with over 30,000 damage, and they still lose. Damage means nothing if you can't confirm your kills. Then this fourth mistake, this is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see see from lower ranked soldier players, they hear the word flank and suddenly they're trying to become Reaper. Like, what are you doing? You're not Reaper with the Death Blossom that needs to be in the back of the enemy team, and then you press Q and, you know, you get 2, 3, 4, 5 people. What these soldier players usually do is they run all the way around the enemy team. They disappear for like 20 seconds and then they finally attack the enemy, only to get eliminated immediately. Guess what? Because they heard you or they all turned around to kill you real quick. Now you just wasted like 30, 40 seconds just because you wanted to flank. Your flank doesn't need to result in a kill to be successful. Instead, I want you to think about being an annoying fly. You're not necessarily trying to instantly kill everyone. You're trying to tickle them. Shoot them, pressure them, force them to look at you. Make them waste time. If you see an easy kill, take it. But if you don't force it. You can simply deal some damage, make the enemy support turn around and maybe force an ability out of them, and then sprint back to your team. Congratulations, you just created value. Because now that support wasn't healing their tank, the DPS wasn't shooting your team, and the enemy had to spend resources dealing with you. The important part is knowing when to leave. A flank is bad when you commit so hard that your only options are either getting the kill or you dying. A good soldier flank gives you an exit. You want to be able to say, okay, I got some damage. They're looking at me. Now it's time to leave. Then you reposition and do it all again. Be annoying, don't be predictable. And now the final mistake is wasting soldiers' abilities when you don't actually need them. Let's start with Biotic Field. Don't drop your healing field just because you're missing 20 health and there's a mini health pack nearby. Obviously, if you need the healing, use it. But if you're barely damaged and you're about to take a fight, maybe save it. Biotic Field can be the difference between surviving an engagement and dying, especially when you're taking an aggressive off angle and you don't have a health pack nearby. You want your resources to help you stay in the fight, not simply erase every tiny bit of damage you take. And then we have Tactical Visor. This is where game sense becomes extremely important. Don't just press Visor because it's available. Pay attention to what the enemy has already used. If an enemy has a defensive ability that can completely ruin your Visor, maybe don't activate it yet. But if you've already seen those abilities used, that's when Visor becomes much more threatening. For example, if you know an enemy is vulnerable and you just saw them use their defense ability, that's a much better opportunity to activate your ultimate. You don't necessarily need 5 kills from Visor, and this means with any ultimate in the game. You do not need the ultimate play of the game. You don't need that. 2 or 3 kills and you're good. If your ultimate helps you secure 1 or 2 kills and win the fight, that's already valuable itself. Your goal isn't to make a montage. Your goal is to win the fight. So in conclusion, if you're playing Soldier 76, I don't want you to immediately assume that you need better aim. I mean, obviously everybody's aim can use improving. This is a fast-paced game and it's kind of hard to train your aim whenever everything's moving at Mach 10. But Soldier 76 is mechanically simple enough that your decision making can become the difference maker. What I want you to remember after you're done with this video, stop sitting main and start abusing high ground and off angles. Use sprint constantly. You don't have a cooldown on it, so take advantage of it. Use helix rockets to actually finish enemies instead of letting them escape, or use it whenever you are 100% sure that you can hit that helix rocket. When you flank, be an annoying fly. Think of that fly that is flying around, buzzing around while you're eating. You're trying to swat it. It's annoying, but you can't get it. Deal damage, force attention on you, take kills when they're available, and get out when they're not. And lastly, stop wasting your resources. Use Biotic Field when you actually need it, and use Tactical Visor when the enemy is most vulnerable. If you can start making better decisions with a hero as simple as Soldier 76, I promise you'll be surprised how much easier it is to climb. And remember, you don't always need to make the biggest play. Sometimes you just need to make the right play. If this helped you out, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
Are we good?
I don't think we are, bro. We need a band-aid or some shit.
Alright, peep game.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna miss.
Doomfist, you. I try to dodge that shit, bro.